I've written 3 books so far. And the first book is called Chips, Beans and Limousines, and the second one's called Socks, Shocks and Secrets, and the third one is called Donuts, Dreams and Drama Queens. I always loved writing, but I never really thought that being a writer was something that I could do. I didn't think of it seriously until I was in my mid-20s, even though all that time, since I was 13, I was writing all the time. Starting a new book generally happens in different ways depending on the book. But usually I just get a great idea or a scene that I think would be really cool, or with Chips, Beans and Limousines, it was a really strong voice in my head. I get ideas from reading kind of magazines about different topics like history or science, and you get great ideas for sort of imaginary things that might happen from those. I think if you're prepared to work hard enough, anyone can be a writer. It is hard work. It's hard work becoming better at your writing. And it's hard work just sitting down and writing and editing yourself until you have a book. If you have stories in your head, and if you think, I love this story, I'm really enjoying thinking about it, what would happen if I wrote it down, then definitely, you know, that's what makes a writer. I mean, that's what I did when I was 13. I went from sort of imagining stories to thinking, hang on, what if I actually wrote this down? And I tried it out, and I thought, wow, this is amazing, because I can keep it and I can read it and other people can read it. And yeah, I mean, I think you just have to go ahead and write it. I would say to young writers today, above all, enjoy it. Try out lots of different stories. If you get an idea for a story, write it down even if you're not sure about it, because even if you're not sure about it, it can sometimes turn into something really good. And when you've got that story down on the paper, be ready to edit, to go back over it and read it and make it better and think, how can I make this sentence more powerful? How can I make this scene more interesting? How can I make this character come alive? And also read a lot. Just keep on reading, because the more you read, the better of a writer you become. Reading lots of books. When you read fiction books, you get inspired by the way that people have told the story. And by reading non-fiction books, it just gives you loads of ideas the more you read. I think that my background influences my writing in that I think I'm always focusing on things that happened in my childhood or emotions that I felt when I was growing up. And I think that's, being that kind of involved in my own childhood makes me want to write about other people's childhoods. So yes, definitely. I mean, I kind of think a lot. I'm half Bangladeshi and half English, so I think a lot about, you know, identity and where do I come from and where do I fit in. And so, you know, with characters I write about, they quite often aren't sure who they are. And I sometimes don't realise that that's what I'm writing about until I've finished it. And then I think, oh yes, I'm writing about that same issue again, you know. So I would describe my books as funny, light-hearted, but they make you think. My favourite review that I had from a reader said, these books made me laugh, but they also made me think. The best things about being a writer is being able to manage your own time and just being able to make up stories all day and think that people read them and enjoy them. That's amazing. Whenever someone writes to me and says, I really enjoyed your book, I find that absolutely incredible. I think it's brilliant. I think writing can be learned to some extent. I think you have to want to write, and you have to be prepared to put the effort in to make your writing better, and you have to be prepared to go through if you want to be published with your writing, you have to be prepared to go through the various rejections and the emotional turmoil that can come with that. But I think you can learn from other writers. I feel passionate about writing and about books and about adventure and about history, and I like to kind of put all those things together, I think, when I write. But mostly I just feel passionate about writing. I'm reading a really fat book called The Force of Destiny, a history of Italy from 1796 onwards. And I'm reading Girls Aloud, Dreams That Glitter. And I must be reading some children's book or other. I'm about to start rereading two Willard Price books, which are great adventure stories, which were kind of like Alex Rider before Alex Rider existed. And I'm also about to start reading A World Away by Pauline Francis, which is another Usborne book. I generally try to fit in about 4 hours writing a day, and I either write at home at my desk, or else out in a cafe if it's nice weather. I'm involved in the Usborne Young Writers Award by writing a story start, which is just the beginning of a story that children can finish on their own. I think it's great to get children writing.